Hey guys, so today's the video that I'm going to be talking about the initial setup for my contest prep for 2019. So for any of you that are unfamiliar with myself, I'm jumping into a contest prep for 2019. I've done another contest prep back in 2017. That was the UK BFF Kemp Classic. You can see that whole documentary of that contest prep on my YouTube channel. Just go back to the videos and look for the playlist section and you'll find it on there. I literally documented from day one right up until the show day. So that's going to be really cool. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Pretty much going to do the same thing with this prep. I'm going to document as much as I can. However, it's not going to be as in-depth as the last one that I'd done in regards to like the full day of eating and documenting my whole day. I'm just going to do it in like little segments and just more so just updating you with everything that's going on. I am also updating everybody on a different platform, which is the Brutal Muscle website forum. So if you are familiar with the website and if you are a member of the Brutal Muscle website, you can go on there and you can see my log on the member forums. I'm logging everything on there, and that goes right back to when I had my surgery done. So for anyone again who's unfamiliar, new to the YouTube channel, I recently had my gynecomastia surgery done. I have done a video on here. You can find that about my trip over to Poland, getting it done, and my experience, and just talking about the ins and outs and answering any questions or inquiries that anybody had regarding the surgery. So check that video out as well. Quite a few plugs here, but yeah. Yeah, that on the forum on the Brutal Muscle website, that literally is logged from after that operation and how I dealt with the recovery process and how I gradually got myself back into training, my methods going into it, and where I am now with the recovery phase, the recomp phase, and now the setup for the actual contest prep. So you have these two platforms, YouTube and Brutal Muscle website, to literally follow everything that's going on with my contest prep. But anyway, let's get into today's video. Before I show you some of my supplements and some of the food, to give you guys a bit of an update about myself after the operation. Pretty much everything is fully recovered now in regards to the surgery. My mobility is a lot better. My ability to actually go into the training sessions and lift the weight that I'm comfortable with doing with good stability and just feeling overall comfortable lifting the heavy weights is back to normal, which is a really good sign. I'm able to obviously like get back to my top strength capacity. The load aspects are gradually incrementing back up. Again, I have spoke about this on other platforms, but my initial idea was after the operation I was going to just jump straight into a contest prep, but I was really surprised by how much strength I lost and how immobile I was as well after the operation. It's a bit of a stupid thing, but yeah, I didn't realise it was going to affect me that much. So I took 2 months off to focus on active recovery and recomp and really just kind of gradually get my strength back up to my top strength capacity, and then that gives me a better starting position going into this contest prep, because I didn't want to lose all that weight and load and be weaker going into a contest prep, because essentially we get weaker, although that's more so psychologically, but to a degree we will gradually get weaker in a contest prep, just because obviously the restriction of calories and the large energy output that we are demanding on our body. We just inevitably get weaker. So I didn't want to start off in a weak position and then get weaker in the contest prep. So I gave myself those 2 weeks to get the strength back up, fully recover, get food back up to a nice stable position prior to going into the contest prep. So that's all pretty much sorted now. I'm able to lift all the weights that I want to lift. I'm lifting nice comfortable weight that I'm satisfied with. Again, like I said, mobility is a lot better, range of motion is a lot better, stabilization a better, everything's pretty much better. One thing that's still taking a little bit of while, I don't know why, I don't know the science behind this, but it's just when it comes to my chest activation, I don't know if there's been any disruption to like the nerve systems and the fibers in my chest from the surgery. Obviously what we have to remember when it comes to things like cosmetic surgeries or any kind of surgery, on the outside it may seem like we have healed and the scarring's recovered, but internally there's still going to be a heavy amount of scarring, and there's a heavy amount of recovery that needs to be taking place internally. So there might be still some disruption going on inside, so my ability to contract and connect with my chest is still a little bit poor, but it always has been to a degree. My chest has always been one of my weaker body parts. So that's an update on that. In regards to my weight, I'm currently sitting at 221 pounds. Weighed myself this morning, exactly 221 pounds after my walk. I managed to get my weight back up because after the operation, my weight dropped drastically, really, but simply because as I wasn't doing as much activity on a day-to-day basis. There was probably about 2 or 3 weeks where I wasn't training at all. I pretty much wasn't leaving the house just because I couldn't, and I felt depressed because I couldn't go to the gym. That massively dropped my appetite. I just didn't want to eat. I'm one of the people where if I'm at home and I'm not being active, I eat less. So I'm probably only eating like 1 or 2 meals a day, and I think I dropped a total of 11 or 12 pounds. So I managed to get that weight back on. Obviously most of it's going to be just like replenishing glycogen stores from the lack of food I've been eating, water, weight, a little bit of muscle, a little bit of fat, a little bit of a combination of everything. It's not just 12 pounds back on of muscle. So yeah, I say all these things in conjunction with one another is going to massively help me in my initial setup with the contest prep. I'm in a good position going into this show. So yeah, that's pretty much an update on everything in regards to myself. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really positive going into this contest prep, especially because one question I've been getting asked a lot is who is coaching me this year. My last contest prep that I'd done, I was working with a good friend of mine and also the owner of Strom Sports Nutrition, who I'm sponsored by. I'm an athlete for Strom Sports, and that was Richard Foster. I really believed in him. I trusted him, and I started working with him a few years back, and obviously he got me in the condition that I was in for the UK BFF Kent Classic in 2017. But this year I'll be doing my own prep, so I'll be coaching myself, simply because I haven't fallen out with Richard. Obviously I'm still part of Strom and I'm still very good friends with Richard, but the rate that Strom has expanded in the last couple of years has been tremendous. It's excelled significantly, and he obviously just has so much on his plate at the moment, trying to put me on top of everything else and coach me through a contest prep. He just doesn't have that time aside to do that. So I made the decision myself to say I'm going to coach myself. I have the knowledge, or I believe I have the knowledge there to be able to coach myself. Obviously being an online coach, I have taken some other clients to the stage, so if I can take them to the stage, I'm pretty confident I can take myself to the stage. I know the ins and outs, but that's going to be fun. That's going to be really interesting to see how that goes with coaching myself and actually putting myself through, obviously, the training sessions, the restriction of the calories, the cardio, etc. So we'll see how that plans out. But anyway, moving on to this video, like I say, talking about the initial setup with what's going on in regards to calories, the macros, my food selection. I know a lot of it's pretty boring, but it seems like a lot of people really enjoy understanding the concept of what people actually eat and do when they go into a contest prep or any kind of dietary phase. So yeah, at the moment, how my calories and macros are set up, I can't remember my actual calories, but I remember the macros. I've got a 3-day split, so I've got a 4-day split, sorry, it's a 4-day split. So I've got a push macros, pull macros, leg macros, and then a rest macros. My push macros at the moment are 300 grams of carbohydrates, 70 grams of fats, and 300 grams of protein. My pull session is 350 grams of carbohydrates, 70 grams of fat, and 300 grams of protein. My leg days are 400 grams of carbohydrates, 70 grams of fats, and 300 grams of protein. And then rest day, it was 250 grams of carbs, but I brought that down recently to 200 grams of carbohydrates, 70 grams of fats, and 300 grams of protein. So as you notice, the fats and protein are identical on all days. The only things that I have manipulated is just the carbohydrates, simply because my demand for the carbohydrates are different on different days. So yeah, that's the macro breakdown. I am going to be changing that again soon because I want to go to a different training split. My new training split is going to be push, pull, legs, rest, upper and lower, and then another rest. That just allows me to have 2 rest days in the week. I don't again want to delve straight into this contest prep with doing 6 days a week. It's doing too much too soon. So I want to start off with the least as possible and then gradually implement more tools and more cards, so I have more variables at my disposal and more cards at my disposal to play and use at my advantage when it comes to like a plateau phase or when I hit a sticking point. So I'm going to go to 5 training sessions with 2 rest days. That's going to be the setup. So I will have to make further manipulations to my macros in regards to the upper and lower day, but I'll update you guys very soon on how that goes. I'll probably update on the Brutal Muscle website before I do it on here. So again, like I said, if you're on there, you'll be able to find out what's going on. But first of all, we'll move into like the supplements. I'm not going to go in depth with all these supplements and their benefits and why you use them and what they do, ingredient profile, etc. because I have done videos on these on my channel, so you can just go find them on there. But as I said, I am an athlete of STROMSPORTS, so I pretty much use all of Strom's supplements. That's the one thing I love about working with Strom, is that they provide everything that I pretty much need. I don't have to get something from one company and then something else from another company and so on and so on and so on. But what I have got is Vascumax Pro. So Vascumax Pro, that's probably going to stay in through the entire prep. Glycomax, which is a glucose disposal agent, that again is going to stay in all through the prep. Very, very handy tool to use. Support Max Neuro, I never had Support Max Neuro for my last contest prep, so this is going to do wonders for this contest prep. I'm excited to use it and see how it affects me during this contest prep in comparison to my last one. Again, like I said, I'm not going to go in depth about it because I have done other videos on it. Essential Max, which is basically your EAAs, and Carbomax, which is Strom's carbohydrate powders. This is the lime flavour. I'm probably going to get a raw one because I have been mixing the lime with some of my other bits. So in my intra-workout, I'm using stuff like Essential Max, which is Berrylicious flavour, and also a Vascumax Pro, which is strawberry kiwi. So mixing all of them together, it's not really the best of taste. So I will get a raw one of those in my next order. Some other bits is ashwagandha, KSM 66, Maximize, and the most important one, Support Max, which is an on-cycle support supplement. So anybody that's using steroids, anabolic steroids, take care of your health markers by getting something like this. Sleep Stack, this is going to be imperative during this contest prep as well to help with my sleep, although my sleep is terrible regardless. L-theanine, which is a new supplement that I've been using recently, and I absolutely love this stuff. And then this one I've got here, which is Arimidex. Now, I am going to do a separate video talking a bit more on my cycle that I'm going to be running this contest prep. But this I just had with me, so I thought I want to show you quickly. Arimidex, I'm taking 0.5 milligrams twice a week, so 1 milligram per week. I just split, I take it on Tuesday and then Thursday, just to help with estrogen levels. But like I said, I'll save that for the other video. Now, moving on to the fun stuff, the stuff that everybody loves to see, and that's all the food. So like I said, I'm not going to show you everything, but I'm just going to give you a rough idea of some of the food sources that I am using at the moment. Later on down the line, some of these foods will be replaced or taken out because obviously I have to take in consideration satiety levels. So some things are going to be more satiating than others. So the foods that I'm using now are probably okay, but as I restrict the calories, my satiety levels will probably go down. So obviously I want to make sure that I feel more satiated. So I will be making some rotations and taking some foods out of my diet and then swapping them for something that's a little bit more satiating. So what I do have is Rice Krispies at the moment. I'm just using 2 of these on my leg days, which is in my post-workout meal. Like I said, that's a prime example of something that will probably be taken out later down the line. Bagel, everyone knows bagel, everybody loves bagel, and I'm just using a plain bagel. And lastly, another food source that is pretty much a staple in every bodybuilder's diet is some porridge oats. So yeah, porridge oats at the moment I'm using as my pre-workout. I probably will at some point transition to ground the rice, because I do really enjoy using ground rice, especially in contest prep. It's what I used in my last contest prep that I'd done, and like I said, you'll probably see it on the last documentary that I'd done of my contest prep, the prep series. A lot of people always ask me, where do you get ground rice from? I always get mine from like a Tesco's, Morrison's or an Asda. The only thing is you won't find it down like the cereal aisle. You'll more likely find it down like the bakery aisle. So where you find the icing for your cakes and all those bits and pieces for like bakery stuff, that's more likely where you're going to find ground rice. But if you just look around, you will find it. It's in most of the stores. Trust me, I'm not lying to you guys. But yeah, I will probably transition to that. For anybody else that's unsure what ground rice is, it's pretty much cream of rice. And it's really, really nice. So I'm going to be using that at some point. But for now, the porridge oats is sitting fine, it's digesting well, assimilating well, and I'm able to utilise them efficiently. So they're staying in, because the saying is, if nothing's broken, you don't need to change it. Other than that, the only other thing that I've got to show you guys is... yeah. So the only other thing left to show you guys is this. Now, to be honest, I never know how to pronounce it, but this scree or scry yogurt, practically it's just like Greek yogurt. Very similar to the fake Greek yogurt, but this one's just not as expensive as that. So that's why I'm using this one. I use that with some whey isolate protein, and that's pretty much it. So like I said, that's the initial setup with my contest prep. One last thing, the cardio side of things. So cardio aspects. At the moment, my cardio is very minimal. The only cardio that I'm actually doing is just steps. So I'm just trying to accrue as many steps as I can on a day-to-day basis. On my training day, it's 10,000. That has incremented up. It was 8,000, it's now 10,000. And on my rest days, I'm now doing 12,000. And that also incremented up from 10,000. So in total, I brought my steps up by 4,000. That's going to be it for the time being. I will probably introduce cardio soon in the form of the Stairmaster, but again, I only want to start with minimal amount. So I'm going to probably only do like 2 times Stairmaster a week at 20 minutes, 20-25 minutes, and then see how that goes. And then from there, I can obviously look at like the rate of loss per week. My goal of rate of loss at the moment is around about 1% per week. So around about £1 per week, and then gradually, you know, either build from there or just maintain that throughout the entire contest prep. So yeah, the cardio is the steps. Probably next week or the week after, I'll start incorporating some Stairmaster only twice a week at 25 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys are all up to date on what's going on. Like I said, in comparison to the last series that I've done, I won't be documenting every other day, and it won't be as in-depth. So it won't be like a full day of eating or a full day in the life of me during the contest prep. It's more so going to be like this. I'm going to update you with things. There's another video to come in regards to my cycle, what I'm going to be doing, what antibiotics I'm going to be using in this contest prep. So yeah, look out for that video. And let's say, if there's any questions in regards to what I'm doing, if you have any inquiries or just interest, drop some comments down below. But hopefully you enjoyed this video, and see you guys on the next one. Cheers.